What would you do if a celebration for your loved one turned into a conflict over a dinner reservation? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how not to handle it. My husband, Arthur, had been relentless in his pursuit of a promotion at his company for the past 2 years, pouring his heart and soul into his work. Finally, his efforts bore fruit, and he secured the advancement he had tirelessly strived for. I was incredibly proud of him, a sentiment echoed by his parents, Eleanor and Richard, who were eager to take us all out to dinner to celebrate this significant milestone. Arthur, a man of simple pleasures when it came to food, absolutely adored prime rib. There was only one establishment in our town, the Gilded Ox, renowned for serving this particular cut of meat, and naturally, he chose it for his celebratory dinner. The thing is, I'm not particularly fond of steak. While I'll eat it on rare occasions, my preferences lean heavily towards chicken or fish. Before we left, I decided to check the Gilded Ox's menu online, only to discover they were operating with a limited selection at the moment. To my dismay, they offered only 1 fish entree and 2 chicken options, none of which appealed to me for various, unappetizing reasons. I gently suggested to Arthur that he might consider a different restaurant, one with a more diverse menu that would cater to everyone's tastes. He, however, was resolute in his choice, explaining that visits to the Gilded Ox were a rare treat, unlike the more frequent excursions we made to other local eateries that did indeed offer a wider variety. He then proposed that I inquire with the restaurant staff about preparing the fish or chicken without their usual marinades or sauces. The thought made me uncomfortable. I didn't want to be perceived as a difficult customer for the kitchen staff. Why is it okay to be difficult for your husband, regarding a dinner that is happening for the sole purpose of celebrating his achievement, but not okay to be difficult for the kitchen staff, for whom making certain accommodations for guests is part of their job? Why is your husband less worthy of that level of consideration and sacrifice? More to the point, why are you asking him to make that sacrifice? Arthur, ever the pragmatist, offered another solution. I could order dessert while everyone else enjoyed their entrees, and afterward, he would take me to a place of my choosing so I could have my dinner while he and the kids had their dessert. This man was bending over backward to appease me, just so he could do the one thing he wanted to do, that he never gets to do. At this point, I simply decided not to go. The idea of sitting there, not eating and not enjoying myself while everyone else celebrated, felt unappealing. My husband pleaded with me, emphasizing how much he wanted me there to celebrate with the people most important to him. I, however, reiterated my refusal, urging him to leave before he was late. I know I've said this before, but apparently it needs repeating. You see, a long time ago, we discovered that the earth revolves around the sun, and not, in fact, around your silly ass. Arthur left for the dinner, but to my surprise, he returned a little over an hour later with our children, Leo and Mia, all carrying takeout boxes. He explained that he couldn't bring himself to lie to the kids when they repeatedly asked why I wasn't there, nor did he want to make me sound bad. So, he simply got their orders to go and allowed Leo and Mia to spend some time chatting with Eleanor and Richard in the parking lot. I told him he should have stayed at the restaurant, but he countered that I had put him in an awkward position with the children. He reminded me that he had wanted everyone there and that I should have simply overlooked my picky eating for one evening. This reveals my greatest fatal flaw, my self-centeredness, which ultimately sealed my fate. I, however, maintained that if he truly desired a family dinner where everyone could eat, he should have selected a restaurant with a more accommodating menu. It wasn't that there was nothing I could eat. There was nothing I wanted. You also were too scared to ask the staff for a substitution. It's one dinner. You basically told your family, my food preferences are more important than your feelings or supporting you. YTA, selfish, and a poor partner. Some of the online comments about my actions were quite harsh, but they served as a necessary wake-up call. I've apologized profusely to Arthur, and as a start to making amends and changing my ways, I'm taking him to the Gilded Ox this weekend and buying him some camping gear he's been eyeing. The story highlights the critical lesson that sometimes, compromise and sacrifice are essential in relationships, especially when celebrating the achievements of loved ones. What do you think is the true meaning of support within a family?